Yeah. Okay. All done? All done.
Similar to the other one, local soreness, tenderness, for a couple of days, take it easy.
It looked at the entire population of the UK across 4 different nations: England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. By far the largest population there is England. And it looked at how many people and what proportion of people across that population had not received the optimal vaccination that was being advised at the time. And the time point we studied was June 2022. And then we followed people through using a cohort longitudinal follow-up design through to September 2022. We were therefore able to look at how many and what proportion of those populations had not received optimal vaccination, even if they had had some, because we know second dose and booster doses have been introduced in different ways in different parts of the world. And then to look at what types of people were most likely to have been suboptimally vaccinated or were under-vaccinated. And then over that 4-month period, what the consequences of that were in terms of likelihood of being admitted to hospital with COVID or dying as a result of or with COVID as a related factor. So what we call severe COVID-related outcomes. So we were looking at the recommendations that were in existence in the UK according to our National Recommendation Committee, the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation, in June 2022, which said that, you know, people of age group X should have had 2 vaccines and a booster, for example. And then, so we looked for all of these different individuals across the population, those aged over 5, and said of all of those individuals, who has had exactly what they should have had and who has not. And that's where these figures come from, somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2, depending on which country you look in. And overall across the UK, around 44% of people hadn't had all of the vaccines and boosters that they should have had at that particular point in time.
Not quite swimming. Although John...
So the groups who are not getting all the advised vaccinations, we call that under-vaccination in our study. You were more likely to be under-vaccinated if you were younger, if you were from a more deprived background, if you were of non-white ethnicity, so the ethnic minority groups in the UK, and those with fewer underlying health conditions. So generally, sicker people and older people have been targeted more for vaccination, and at least that our results show that they were less likely to be under-vaccinated. But still you can see the groups who are not getting all the recommended doses across the board that they should have been from the results of this study.
But I think it's because my legs are swollen. Yeah. Again, straight. And relax. And again, straight and straight. But, yeah. Was that painful? Yeah. Well done. Yeah. We'll do the other leg. Yeah, okay. Just 50%. We're just warming up and then down. Not really, no. But I get achy and I do it at night time with my back, lower back. Okay. But that's been off and on for quite a few years. Yeah. We've walked, what, 2 or 3 weeks ago now. Yeah, I think it's
when you pull data together from multiple different sources at this sort of scale, which is 65 million plus people, you are able to interrogate, provided you've got the data to do so, different subgroups with substantial statistical power. And it's one of the really important points about this study and this capability that is now being built across the UK.
I walked actually. Did you walk? Yeah, it's only a half-hour walk, so make contact with your questions. That was the procedure of the questions. Thank you.